Welcome back to the Explainer. So following up on our last lesson, where we untangled proxy servers and how they route traffic, today we're tackling something a bit different. We are looking at the silent technology that is out there protecting, well, almost every single organization in the world. We're talking about the absolute foundation of network security, the firewall.
To really wrap our heads around why firewalls are so absolutely critical, I want you to picture an organization that just decides to connect its entire internal network directly to the open internet. Just imagine the sheer chaos of that for a second. You've got global internet users and inevitably attackers constantly scanning systems. Without any restrictions in place, hackers can literally just walk right into a company's internal databases. They can poke around exposed APIs, access admin consoles, and they wouldn't even break a sweat doing it. Which brings us to the big question. Should unknown internet users freely connect to your internal databases? Obviously, no way.
Okay, let's dive into this. The reality of the open network problem is that today, a company's footprint isn't just a single server sitting in a closet somewhere. We're talking about employee laptops, massive customer databases, sprawling cloud servers, and tons of administrative infrastructure. Every single one of these systems connected to a network is potentially reachable, and without proper communication boundaries, those sensitive systems become massive targets for anyone out there looking for a quick vulnerability.
The fix to this whole mess, naturally, is a checkpoint. Think about airport security. You don't just let passengers wander right off the street and onto the tarmac, right? You inspect them. You ask, who are you? And are you carrying anything dangerous? Networks required that exact same strict checkpoint for any incoming communication.
And that brings us perfectly to our formal definition. A firewall is a security system responsible for allowing or blocking network traffic based on specific security rules. Its job is actually brilliantly simple, yet profoundly important. It acts as a digital security gate. It receives traffic, inspects that communication, evaluates it against a set policy, and then either lets approved traffic pass through or slams the door entirely on unauthorized attempts.
Section 1. How traffic inspection works. Let's see how this gatekeeper actually does its job.
This entire sequence happens in literal milliseconds. Let's use the GitHub developer platform as an example. A user sends a request from their browser. But before GitHub's application server ever even sees that request, the traffic hits the firewall for inspection. The firewall intercepts it, runs an evaluation against its rulebook, and makes a definitive, split-second choice, either allow or block.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer amount of detail the firewall gathers when it puts that traffic under the magnifying glass. It isn't just looking blindly. During that inspection step, it extracts the source IP address, the destination IP, the specific port number, the protocol type, and the connection state, all before the actual rule evaluation even begins. In the outcome of that evaluation, it's entirely binary. If the rules say yes, the communication continues smoothly. The traffic reaches the application server just as intended. But if the rules say no, the request is dropped instantly. The attack is abruptly stopped, hitting a complete brick wall, and the server behind the firewall is completely unaware an attempt was even made. Section 2. Port-based security rules. Let's explore how these systems manage specific pathways.
As you probably know, applications communicate using specific network ports, and firewalls rely heavily on these as primary filters. We're talking port 80 and 443 for regular web traffic, maybe 22 for SSH access, or 3306 for databases. By mapping security rules to these specific port assignments, a firewall can surgically expose only the required services while keeping everything else completely invisible.
Let's put that into perspective. Say you have a public website on port 443 and a private customer database on port 3306. Do you want the entire internet touching that database directly? Absolutely not. The firewall strictly enforces this separation. It allows traffic on 443 and outright drops anything trying to hit 3306. The website remains public, but the data? It's locked in a vault.
This separation is absolutely crucial because, honestly, attackers are relentless. Automated bots can scan the entire IPv4 address space of the internet in under an hour, constantly knocking on exposed services like ports 22, 80, 443, or database ports like 3306 and 5432. Without a firewall, you're entirely visible. But with one, those unused hidden ports simply don't respond, which dramatically reduces your attack surface to virtually zero.
But here's a pro tip that a lot of folks actually miss. Firewalls aren't just for incoming threats. They are incredibly important for outgoing or egress traffic. Think about it. If an employee's laptop gets compromised by malware, that malware is naturally going to try and phone home to an external command server. A strict outbound firewall blocks that unauthorized connection containing the infection and stopping data from being stolen right under your nose.
Moving to Section 3, Cloud and Layered Defense.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the concept of a firewall has completely scaled out of the physical server room. Today, the major cloud providers, Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, they all offer managed firewalls woven directly into their infrastructure. Security isn't just some physical hardware box blinking in a rack anymore. It's programmable software boundaries managed constantly by cloud engineers. This logic even extends deeply into the internal architecture of modern, cloud-native applications. Take Kubernetes, for example. In a massive cluster containing hundreds of microservices, not every service should be able to communicate freely with the others. So Kubernetes uses network policies to internally define pod communication. It's the exact same firewall principles we've been talking about, just applied at a micro level.
Let's see how this builds into a multi-layered defense architecture. Attackers don't just face one barrier, they face a gauntlet. Public traffic hits a load balancer, drops to a reverse proxy, passes through a dedicated firewall inspection layer, reaches the application servers, and even then still has to navigate internal database firewall rules. It's security in depth.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Common Mistakes and Career Relevance.
If you're building systems, there are 4 major beginner mistakes you really need to avoid. First, assuming firewalls just automatically protect you. They don't. They require active, strict management. Second, ignoring those outbound traffic rules we talked about. Third, accidentally leaving unused management ports exposed to the public internet. And fourth, assuming that just because you use managed cloud systems, you somehow don't need to configure your own firewall layers. You absolutely do.
Because these concepts are so foundational to modern systems, mastering them is incredibly relevant no matter what tech career you're after. Whether you're aiming for cybersecurity, cloud engineering, DevOps, site reliability, or traditional network engineering, security and operations are overlapping more every single day.
So the crucial point is this. Everything we've talked about today really boils down to one simple philosophical question. Should this communication be allowed at all? Firewalls strip away vulnerability by forcing systems to answer that exact question at every single layer. So I'll leave you with this to think about. If we took a hard look at your infrastructure right now, how much network traffic are you implicitly trusting that you absolutely shouldn't be? Think on that for a bit. That wraps up our explainer on firewalls. Next time, we're going to unpack how VPNs secure connections over these wild public networks. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.